The Lost pilot for the Kingdom Hearts animated series just got released. Let's talk about it. Special shout out to Seth Kersley. He is the one who was in charge of this project back in 2003, and he is the one who released the pilot after all these years. This is not a first time reaction. This is just some stuff that I wanted to comment on, because this pilot is pretty interesting. Here is said pilot, and we're just going to brush over a couple of things really quick. The first thing here that I find through Jiminy's narration is just that they call all of the worlds the Magic Kingdom. There's never really a specific thing that they call the culmination of all the worlds, aside from, I think, the realm between. Now, granted, this is based off of Kingdom Hearts 1, and they hadn't really established what the grand worlds of everything is. So, Magic Kingdom, it's a Disney-related thing. Sure, that's cool. I love this shot right here, because it's the exact same shot that we see from the games, and I find it hilarious, because we don't ever get to see this until, like, Kingdom Hearts 2. Now, an interesting thing here is that Sora has the Keyblade before Destiny Islands falls. Maybe this is like a loose interpretation, I'm not sure, but the fact that he has the Kingdom Key before the fall of the Destiny Islands is definitely different from, you know, the original adaptation. Most of this video is actually just going to be me talking about the differences between the adaptation and the original source material. I love this image right here. This image is everything to me. It's rough because it's an animatic, right? But it's interesting, like, how they're choosing to establish the backstory for the characters. This shot also is very important to me, specifically for Kairi's face. She kind of looks like a disgruntled Charlie Brown character, and I love that. I love it so much. And then this moment right here, Kairi just, hold on, let me go back. I just see a spider on my desk. I hope not. And then Kairi just comes in here kicking the Heartless. Nomura, this is what you need to have done with Kairi, man. This is character development right here. I really like this shot right here, because it's very much trying to mirror the dive to the heart in KH1. So obviously there's like a lot of influence from KH1. That's stupid. This whole thing is about Kingdom Hearts. What am I talking about? But they really tried to get close to the source material as they could, which I really like here. Something I do kind of want to talk about though. There's a lot that happens on the Destiny Islands in the game that doesn't appear here. Specifically, we don't see any of the Final Fantasy characters, which I find to be rather odd considering that the whole purpose for this was so Seth Kersley could make a American anime. So the option to not include Final Fantasy seems a little weird. 2, we don't see Kairi going through Sora. We don't see her phasing through Sora, or essentially her heart going inside of Sora. So it makes me kind of wonder, you know, what would have happened, like what would be the end game of this show, right? I would like to think that they try to stick to the source material as closely as they could, but then again, it's an adaptation, so they might branch off and do something different with it. But it does kind of make you wonder, like how they would explain Kairi being inside of Sora if that's the route they chose to take with it. Oh look, they have that's a really nice.
But Riku.
Also, this establishing shot of Hollow Bastion, very nice. I love this.
Big on. I am more than.
I need to watch that again.
I am more than.
That's such a great scene. It's humorous, and it shows that Maleficent is just not here for anyone's shit.
We've got Heartless readings coming from Agrabah. Bet you can't wait to get them with your Keyblade.
That line is the thing that doesn't fit the most in this entire thing. I don't know why that line gets me. I just don't really like it. I feel like that's just a little like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just nitpicking.
There's a hero inside all of us. We just have to find it.
So they have this whole hero premise, and I question why they choose this whole you're a hero thing for when they go into Agrabah and not Olympus Coliseum. I feel like it would have made way more sense to go to Olympus Coliseum, but again, I wasn't there. I didn't make this thing. I didn't notice this the first time, but he's just kind of wearing the Keyblade on his back. It's not like he can summon it or whatever, which I find very weird. Because the whole thing with the Keyblade is that it's supposed to be Sora's. Like, that's his weapon, right? It belongs to him. No one else can take it from him, blah, blah, blah. Except for when Riku does, you get the point. But it's just kind of weird to see him just carrying it on his back. It's not bad, it's just different. This might be my favorite part of the entire animatic. Also, real quick, this move right here, it's classic Kingdom Hearts 1 Sora. So they really tried to like mimic the fighting style that's used like in the game, which I very much appreciate.
It is you! You're alive!
Sora!
I thought I'd never find you.
It's so good to see you again.
This is also kind of interesting because this also deviates from the canon. I do like this though. This is a very cute moment, especially for a TV show. Originally, they actually meet in Traverse Town, right? It's a lot more of a sillier encounter. It's like Sora's like pinching Riku's face and stuff, and it's really funny. But this one is like genuinely really sweet, right? I don't know. I just like it.
Okay, you can get that one.
I think what is honestly really cool about this that we don't get to see a lot of in the first Kingdom Hearts is just the classic Sora-Riku rivalry. We see it a lot in Destiny Islands in Kingdom Hearts 1 because it's just Riku being a dick the entire time. But here they're like really playful. They feel like friends. It's not a one-upsmanship thing, you know? The friendship feels a lot more established, honestly. And I really like that. The joke's too easy. This is my new profile picture on like almost everything. Look at how smug this dude is.
How's this supposed to help find our friends?
There's a magic.
We can't not talk about it. So obviously, very funny shot, right? But like, that's the point, because again, this is an animatic. The fact that he goes cross-eyed here, and given the context of the scene, I think this is a perfectly fine shot. Granted, this is hilarious meme material, and I will be using it very frequently. They use Simple and Clean here, and I question why exactly. Because it's such a very short, like, sequence. It's literally just, it starts here.
Problems. Brace ya.
And then it lasts all of like maybe 7-8 seconds, something like that. And honestly, to me, it just doesn't fit. Now, granted, they took a bunch of different music as like placeholders, because since this isn't something that would have been aired, they couldn't get copyrighted for it. It's just for testing purposes, whatever. So they just used placeholder music. My initial instinct is maybe that was their way of establishing what the theme song for the show was going to be. But like, you know how sometimes like cartoons and the anime will do that thing where it like plays the theme song at a very specific moment? It's almost sort of like a hyping up moment or like a rallying cry for the viewer and the people in the show. That's the kind of vibe I get from this. So I'm curious if they actually wanted to use Simple and Clean for the opening. Look at all of these Heartless, right? We got Neo Shadows in here. You know how late in the game you see Neo Shadows? So the pilot really does go from 0 to 100 like super quickly. But like, I'm kind of here for it. This is such a departure from what Agrabah's plot is in Kingdom Hearts 1. This is a pretty good representation of like an adaptation that isn't canon, but is still very enjoyable. Kind of like the mangas, you know? Now, I know Seth Kearsley really wanted to take this show into a dark direction, potentially darker than the original source material, and I think that's clearly, like, shown here. Now, obviously, this is still, you know, just an animatic. It's gotta put that in perspective. I will say that a million times. But, like, Riku looks really angry and possessed and all this other stuff. He doesn't have the licorice suit, which I think is very funny. Also, there's this weird dynamic with Maleficent and Riku. I don't remember Riku ever calling Maleficent his queen. Their relationship was definitely more of like an adoptive mother sort of thing, albeit a very malefic and evil adoption. But there wasn't any sort of like servant-master dynamic, you know? It was more of like a, okay, mom, I'll go take out the trash. Now this I love. Seeing the inside of the Gummy ship and having them like look out at all of the worlds, I think is awesome. I wish we could have gotten something a little bit like this in the other games, especially Kingdom Hearts 1. I also love that they just used PNGs of everything for this ending shot. It's a pilot, they needed to save some time on it. It's totally fine. And that's that. So a couple of other thoughts that I have about this. First, let's talk about, is it a good adaptation? Yeah, I think so. It's different, for sure, but I still find it really enjoyable. I can see why this tested really well early on, and it's kind of a shame that they didn't pick it up later. There's not a lot that really irks me in terms of differences from the adaptation and the source material. I think the only things that really bug me are Sora already having the Keyblade, and the dynamic between Riku and Maleficent. But that's about it, honestly. I will say Sora's character in this is a little off-putting, not because I think it's badly written, but it's just different. In Kingdom Hearts 1, Sora is just this kid, and he's just trying to find his friends. He's not looking for a greater purpose. He has one track goal in mind, and he kind of fumbles his way through it, right? He doesn't really give a lot of thought to being a hero until like way later on in the series. Here, Sora is definitely more of a like, we have a goal, we have a mission, we gotta do it, right? And obviously there's some self-doubt built into it, but the whole point of this pilot episode was to prove, hey, we can do this, or I can do this. I being Sora, not me. I can't do it. My back hurts. It's definitely a different take on the main character, and I'm not quite sure how I feel about it. Obviously, like, we know Sora as this happy-go-lucky dude throughout the entire series, really. And yeah, he overcomes obstacles and does have moments of self-doubt, but he's always got a smile on his face. He always chooses to, like, believe in others, and believing in others is what gives him the strength to keep on going. In this, it seems more like Sora's just trying to be his own person. The self-doubt is there, he's worried about being good enough. He still wants to find his friends, but like, it's definitely more of like a, can I do it? Not a, oh, they're out there somewhere, I believe in them. Again, not necessarily bad, it's just different. And let's say this had come out around the time that it should have, and had no impact whatsoever on the series in general, which is another thing we'll get into in a moment. Seeing how everything plays out, I don't see this Sora being the Sora that we see develop throughout Kingdom Hearts 3. Is it a bad adaptation of Sora? No. It's just different. The one thing I absolutely love about this is that they keep the humor that we see in Kingdom Hearts 1. Kingdom Hearts 1 has such fun and quirky moments in it that aren't really replicated later on in the series. And like, we can kind of see that quirkiness resembled here, especially this.
Me neither. How's this supposed to help find our friends?
There's a magic lamp in there.
Oh, I get it. I just don't understand it.
I think that this does a perfect job of replicating the quirkiness from Kingdom Hearts 1. And I really appreciate that. I think really the only other thing I want to talk about is, had this released, what impact would it have had on the series? You can argue either way, but let's say theoretically it did have an impact on the series. Would we still have the same Kingdom Hearts that we have today, like video game wise? I think maybe. I don't know that this would have changed anything story-wise. Tetsuya Nomura had an idea for how he wanted to direct the series, and if Disney wanted to have this be an established canon thing, there might have been some contingency there. Maybe we would have gotten some more merch that might be readily available in the US? I'm looking at you, Square. I'm interested to hear everyone else's thoughts about this. Do you like the animatic? Do you not like the animatic? Are there bits and pieces you enjoy, dislike, whatever? Do you wish this would have come out in 2003? Do you think releasing this might cause Disney to try and make another animated series? Just let me know in the comments. Anyways, I've been Nobody Daxian. This has been Captain Cuddles. See you in the next video.